It's weird because our generation is really strange. I was talking to a kid about this. Like, I'm 30, he's 25, and he was trying to say there's no difference in that shit. And I was like,
There's a difference.
nah, man. I was like, you don't know about Jankos. You don't know about,
doesn't know about Jankos.
Airwalks used to be the shit before they went into Payless. I was like, you don't know about Pogs. And he was like, yeah, I don't know about those shits. And I was like,
it's different.
Exactly. There's a big jump, dog.
But then Jed and Jenna and Davina would tell me and you.
We still overlapped into their shit a little bit. Because, like, with Magic, we're aware of it, you know? We didn't have other distractions, so we sort of had to pay more attention to their shit.
I agree with you, but at the same time, I slightly disagree with you because even though we're aware of their shit, there's certain things that it's just like where you and I, if those things are brought up to us, our first reaction would be, that's a generation before me. So I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
If somebody says Beverly Hills 90210, I go, that generation before me. You say Beverly Hills 90210 to Jed, you say Beverly Hills 90210 to Davina or to my sister, they'll be like, yeah, Beverly Hills 90210. Like that.
It's still on our radar. Like we still know of it. Like he was like, Pogs? Nah. Like it's almost like that Magic the Gathering. It was like it was on the cusp, it was on the end of our radar. Like
true,
if there was one of those blip shits.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
Outer cusp.
But what's the birthday then where the person shit is not on our radar?
So 30. So I think a 26, 27-year-old isn't fucking with the shit that we were fucking with, but we're not fucking with the shit they were fucking with, like a Dragon Ball Z.
No. I'm saying on the older end. On the older end.
Oh, where are we out of
Where's the cutoff? Because you're saying, you're 30, I'm 31, okay?
Yeah.
So,
I'm thinking of my cousin Josh, who's like 30. I think he's 30. He might be like 37, 38.
There's no way we're fucking with his shit.
I think we are, because he was fucking with Pogs and shit.
I'm saying, if it's not 37, then I'm cutting it off at 38 max, dog.
It might even because I never really spoke to him about his shit, but he was definitely playing with some shit that I didn't know about. You know, like
what's crazy is that the older you get, the smaller those differences are. Like when we were 14, right? Our brothers and sisters, we looked at them like they're in a different world. You know what I'm saying? With their interests.
Yeah.
But now that we're all in our 30s, it's like not really all that different anymore.
Yeah, but that's because I know what Jed was like playing with and stuff like that. My cousin Josh was a little older than Jed. Like, so Jed might know what Josh was doing a little bit more, you know, like.
Yeah, but there is a line,
like Josh
dude.
might say some
like,
shit.
Even if you tell me, Kyle, the generation where we would be cut off is legit, like where we wouldn't understand their world is Generation X shit, and it's like, the person's 40 years old right now. So literally like 9 years older than us right now. There is a line somewhere. Like you're not.
Yeah, there is. I think it's so my brother's 34, I think, or 33 or 34. It could be like that 35, 36. Because I'm sure
that was kind of my original point. My original point is that's the zone where I start getting fuzzy. Where like if somebody hits me with like some best boy band of all time, New Kids on the Block, I'm like, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Like you're not even close to correct. Like we're gonna have a conversation and we're gonna either talk NSYNC or Backstreet Boys.
Yeah.
Or it's a rap. If you say New Kids on the Block, we got problems here. And I don't know. What would Jed say?
That's an interesting question for boy bands.
Text him right now. Text him right now. Be like, yo, what?
Okay, he said, oh, New Kids on the Block.
There you go. See, that's how we know he's a slight tick of a generation above us.
Yeah, because that wasn't our shit.
If we're asked that question, 100%, we either go Backstreet Boys or NSYNC. It wouldn't even occur to us to say New Kids on the Block. That wouldn't even occur to us.
No, but to them, that was like they had all the bangers.
To them, that's the shit and to be fair, they're right if they say that's what birthed Backstreet Boys and NSYNC.
But here's the thing, I think music is its own category, but we know New Kids on the Block. Like we're privy to that.
We do know
we
them.
Can name a song or two.
What's that?
Like we could name a song or two from New Kids on the Block.
Like if I heard a New Kids on the Block song, I'd be able to recognize it as a New Kids on the Block song.
Yes. And same thing, and like I said, I think music is different because like, you could get a fucking 15-year-old who's like the biggest Beatles fan ever, or like Billy Joel fan or some shit. You know, it's just weird with music. But like, I'm sure if I asked him like what was a popular toy when you were a kid, he might say some like Teddy Ruxpin shit or something like that. And like, I don't really know about the toy, but I would know of the toy. You know what I'm saying?
You know, another measure you could use for this? Video game systems.
I mean,
100% you could use that as a measure, because you say it to Jed, and he
would
might
probably
say
Nintendo,
original Nintendo, whereas you and me, I'm immediately saying like Super Nintendo or N64.
But I was fucking with Nintendo too with them. Like, I was playing Nintendo with him. But I asked my cousin Josh, and he's 100% saying Atari.
There you go. See, then your cousin Josh is the cutoff for like.
Yeah,
and
I think it's like 30. So
hold
what's
up,
the next
I'm
shift?
gonna-
So
I wanna-
38.
So then technically we're all millennials. Me, you.
38 and younger is a millennial?
No.
Like,
No. Millennial is born 1981 to 1996. So the people who are millennials
so yeah, no, that should go. What was it? 1981
to 1996.
That should go 1981 to 1991.
No,
Like,
I disagree. I disagree.
92 and after, those fucking kids don't know. They don't know about like Jenkos. They don't know about like.
But they have just as much in common with us
cookie.
as you have in common with your brother.
Say that one again.
Okay, so a kid, right? Let's say takes, just for argument's sake, somebody who's 25 years old right now. Okay.
Yeah.
They have just as much in common with us as you have in common with your brother, or as I have in common with my sister.
Nah,
100%.
I disagree, because I just broke it down with a 25-year-old, and I was like, you know about this shit? He was like, nah. I was like, you know about this shit then? He was like, nah.
But
I was like, so there is that big jump.
There's enough of an overlap, though. There's enough of, if you talk about enough shit, he's going to hit you with a bunch of shit that you guys are going to relate.
Nah, I disagree.
I'm telling you, there are conversations that, let's say, hypothetically, your brother can have with my sister, where they will understand each other 100% about some cultural shit, and me and you will be like, I don't know what you're talking about.
I think we'd have a gist of what they were talking about.
Nah, you're bugging a little bit, because
I don't think they could take it too far without us being like, you're speaking a different language right now.
we can relate to them on 65 to 70% of the shit that they're culturally aware of. But we cannot relate to them on that other however much percent is left.
I don't know.
I can't do the math.
I know exactly what my brother was like playing with and all the shit he was like into. I don't think he could hit me with some like, you don't remember me playing with this when I was 3 and you were 0.
I think you're overestimating your cultural connectedness with people who are older than us, and you're underestimating the cultural connectedness for people who are 5 years younger than us.
No, I know younger than us, they can't fuck with some of the shit that we put like.
Yeah, but you just hit them with some deep in the culture shit, dog. You hit them with like the graduate level, next level, like
Jenkos and Pogs were next level.
Yeah, man.
If I hit him with some like Stretch Armstrong, he would have definitely been lost. Because Stretch Armstrong,
100%, because that's graduation shit. That's next level shit.
Stretch Armstrong was like in between my brothers, your sisters, and our age. You know. If I hit him with some like WWF, like Royal Rumble, like ringside shit, he would have been like, nah, I don't know what you know, like.
So
I could have took it next level on him.
See, here's the thing though. If you start breaking up, so you said it should be, what'd you say? 1981 to 1990. It should be
92.
Okay, so you're giving it a period
91,
of
92.
So you want 10-year generations, 11-year generations.
Yeah. Yes.
You don't like the 15, 20-year shit.
No.
Okay,
after
apparently
92,
according
I know
to
mad people that don't know shit.
According to what is this? mentalfloss.com?
That shit sounds fake as fuck.
Yeah, let's go to Wikipedia, see what Wikipedia says here.
Yeah, mental floss sounds like
because
some.
I think there's a debate as to exactly where the lines begin and where the lines end. So here we go. Millennials are the demographic cohort following Generation X and preceding Generation Z. Researchers and popular media typically use the early 1980s as the starting birth years and the mid-1990s to early 2000s as the ending birth years. So some people argue that it's like 1980 to like 2002.
What? Nah.
That's millennials. That's what some
That
people
shit
argue.
sounds like bootyfloss.com or some shit.
No, I would agree with you that if they're hitting the 2000s, they've gone too far, for sure. But I would not argue against 1996 as the end date of millennial generation. I wouldn't argue against that. You
Can't
like
go higher
earlier.
than 92.
Yeah, I mean, I hear you. There was a time when if I heard you were born in the 1990s, I'd be like shocked by it. But now if I hear that somebody's born in the 1990s, I'm like,
I'm still shocked by that shit.
You
like
are?
92.
I'm not at all anymore.
91, 92, I'm like, all right, you have some street cred to you. 93 and above.
93 and above, Corin doesn't think you actually exist. Like you're not actually real. Like you're kind of a baby.
And above, you haven't lived through shit yet. Like you're not an OG.
Yo,
like
son,
you don't know about like
you're shitting on half our audience. Chill.
They don't know about shit. Like, and they should know that shit too. Like they should respect the OGs.
No, so it's.
But yeah, I'm curious if my brother and like your sister can have a conversation with like my cousin who's a little older than them, who's like the jump from we are to our older siblings, and they could talk about some shit like, oh, you remember the Paul McGuire doll or some shit, and they're like, fuck, that was the shit, and if you had it in the box, it was the like, I'd be like, I don't even Paul McGuire doll, like
there's definitely
like,
some shit. There's definitely some shit they could connect on where me and you would be a little bit like, I'm not quite sure what you're talking about.
Like a 24, a 25, a 26-year-old, they don't know about a fucking Tickle Me Elmo and that shit being like the hottest shit ever.
Tickle Me Elmo, yeah, I remember that, dog.
My sister had, and I think still has, this one is gonna blow you away. And this shit was almost as popular as a Tickle Me Elmo doll. Your brain's going everywhere right now, but it's not about to go where I'm about to tell you.
Furby.
Nope. It was a Rosie O'Donnell doll.
I never heard of that.
It was the shit. Look it up. It was
Rosie O'Donnell doll.
It was the most popular fucking plush doll. That shit was exclusive. We had it in the box.
I see it. I never knew it was a thing.
That shit was like the hottest shit back in the day.
That's sort of
hilarious. They
hilarious.
used to sell it at KB Toys, and like they were always out of that shit.
Rosie O'Donnell doll.
She used to have a TV show, right?
I do remember the TV show. Yes, I do. I remember that. And I remember, her
Sally
and Trump
Jesse Raphael?
I remember Sally Jesse. Of course I remember Sally Jesse Raphael. I remember Maury, Jerry Springer.
Jenny Jones?
Jenny. Yeah, I remember Jenny. I remember Jenny.
That was a fucking... Like, Jenny Jones is some shit that if you say that shit to a 26, 27, 28-year-old might not even know.
Now, you know what would make me feel old as fuck? If you bring up VHS tapes and they're like, I don't know what you're talking about. That would actually, not only would I feel old as fuck, I'd feel slightly offended. Like, you don't know VHS tapes?
Yeah, if they don't know VHS tape, then they're gone to me.
I'm slightly offended at that.
Jenny Jones is my litmus test. So our
Jenny
audience,
Jones is your litmus
our audience,
test?
if you are an OG, don't lie. Keep it 100 and fucking 10%. I want a yes or no. Do you know what the Jenny Jones show was?
I feel like Sally Jesse Raphael was more known.
She was, but Jenny Jones was that under the radar shit. Like you had to know about Jenny Jones.
Although to be fair, I just checked it now. She was on from 91 to 2003, so she was on for a hot minute.
Jenny Jones was the shit, man.
I mean, that's a diesel, son. 91 to 2003, that's legit.
Jenny Jones was the shit.